Hopefully by now people are somewhat aware of who I am. I'm Mark Bell. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have a gym called Super Training that I started in 2006. I'm also an inventor. I have a product called the Slingshot. I'm an editor of a magazine called Power Magazine, and I'm also a powerlifter. The story of some of the success that I've had all starts from not when I was 20 and not when I was 15. It all starts from when I was a kid. Having two older brothers that would beat the hell out of me here and there. We wrestled each other all the time. If we played football, we played basketball. I did boxing for a few years, track, and even eventually some pro wrestling. It didn't matter what it was, whether it was powerlifting or anything like that. It didn't matter what it was, they were always there. They were always there to provide, and they were always there to show their support. I always struggled in school. People call it a learning disability, or people call it ADD or ADHD or LMNOP or whatever you want to call it. I always just kind of look at it this way, like if not getting good grades in school or not doing well in school makes you dumb, then that's what I was. But that was just a part of a small part of my life when I was a kid, and I figured out different ways to overcome that and different ways to go around that. And my way to go around that was to build confidence through strength training, through lifting weights. As I got to be 14, 15 years old, I started to set state records and national records. And so it gave me a lot of confidence to start to do other things, to start to venture into other things. I played football, did some boxing, did a bunch of different things. And probably around the age of 20, I entered into some pro wrestling. My oldest brother, Mad Dog Mike Bell, he was a pro wrestler. My brother Mike was hugely passionate about wrestling, probably the way I am about powerlifting. I just kind of always followed in my big brother's footsteps, whether he was playing football or whether he was getting into pro wrestling or many other things. Pro wrestling gave me the confidence to do what I'm doing right now, public speaking. I would freeze up like you wouldn't believe anytime I ever had to talk in front of anybody for anything. I could barely even say my name. I'd stutter, I'd just get cold sweats, and I would feel sick, and it was the last fucking thing in the world that I ever wanted to do. So pro wrestling gave me the confidence and the ability to not really worry about if I'm like making fun of myself or if I'm acting silly, if I'm acting weird. I was just able to kind of be free with it and just do my own thing, and was able to kind of start the Power Project and some YouTube videos and things that people now associate me with.
Anyway, I'm here to talk about something a little bit more important. I'm here to talk about myself. So listen up, all you fat internet nerds and wrestling Barneys and California stump jumpers. I got a lot to say. I got a lot on my plate. So you people need to shut your mouths.
Andy has helped me with everything. When I first met Andy, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a license, I didn't have a bank account, I didn't have a job. I was a bum. I tried to give Andy as much alcohol as I could and just try to sucker her into hopping into a relationship with me, basically. For whatever reason, we hit it off right away. We got along, probably just my good looks, I'd imagine. That's always taken me places. She has been able to kind of teach me a lot of different things. I mean, like I said, when I first met her, I would just say that I was a bum at the time. I was probably like 21 or so, 22, somewhere in that age category, and I was just lost. I just didn't know what I was doing, where I was going. And then here comes this beautiful woman. She comes along, and I thought she was like much older than me because she has a mature way about her, and she was always coming off of work. And so she was dressed in like work clothes, looking super hot. So I was like, hey, who's this chick? She came into the bar in Hermosa Beach called Sharky's, and I was a bouncer there, and that's where we met. Once we started to become a couple, everything was just everything was just easier. Like she thought of stuff that I was not thinking like about the next minute stuff or the next day stuff. I still don't really do a lot of that. But now that we're married and stuff, she handles a lot of the kind of day-to-day stuff. I'm always trying to be more creative and think more, I guess, big picture type stuff. Without her, none of this stuff would have ever happened. The Slingshot, Power Magazine, the Slanger Mansion, the pool in the back here, all of that is definitely a huge part of you know, her and I being together rather than just ideas that had popped into my head. The intention of the Slingshot right off the bat was to be able to train through and around injuries. You know, I was doing geared powerlifting at the time, wearing powerlifting equipment, bench shirts. I was preparing for a contest and I tore my pec. And I was just like, oh shit, you know, I really want to do this contest. At that time, I was competing every maybe 4 to like 8 weeks or so, just kind of depending on where the contests were. I was trying to just do any contest I could find, and each time I would just try to you know, up my total a little bit. And in preparing for this meet, you know, I was excited. My squat was going way up, my deadlifts were going way up, and I tore my pec in the you know, doing a bench press one day. And so I was just sitting there in the gym by myself, just kind of like depressed really. And I just remembered that the company that I was sponsored by at the time, they sent me this giant ass bench shirt. At the time I probably weighed 290 or 300, but this thing would fit a gorilla. This thing would fit someone who weighed like 400 or 500 pounds probably. It was huge. And so, you know, those of you unfamiliar with the bench shirt, it's just a supportive device that goes around, that goes up over your arms, and it's almost made out of like a pair of jeans. It's like really thick. It's pretty stiff material, and it allows you to lift more weight. Like if your best bench press is you know, 500, you might be able to do 600 or 700 in a bench shirt. It might give you a 100 or 200 pound advantage. So once that contest was over, I was just kind of like holding this bench shirt, and I was just kind of looking at it. I held it up, and I'm just like looking at it, and I'm in the gym, and the thing stinks. Things just smelled so bad because so many different people have thrown it on. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, you know, like, how do I get all these people that told me over the years, oh, I used to bench 3 plates, or somebody that tells me, oh, I used to do that, I used to do this, but they don't do it anymore because they tore their rotator cuff, or they have a tricep issue or a pec problem, or whatever the case is for that person. And I was like, well, this thing can't be it, because no one would ever wear this, especially in a commercial gym. The thing's kind of embarrassing to put on. Most bench shirts take a couple people to help you get the thing on, and they also cost several $100s. So I'm like, well, no one wants to spend $300 on, you know, trying to train their chest and trying to bench press a little bit more weight. I was like, I want to try to think of something that is a lot more simple. My dad and I were holding some like wrist wraps, and we're trying to hold them together, and we Velcro it together in the middle. And my dad's holding the Velcro in the middle, and I go to bring my arms back, and when I bring my arms back, the Velcro snaps and hits him in the face. And he's like, well, shit, that didn't work. I was like, no, that's it though. That's the sensation. That's the way this thing that I'm thinking about should feel. And he's like, yeah, you know, I bet you my friend can probably sew something up that, you know, that would at least work. You can test it out, at least try it out. And so I took a bunch of material to her, kind of showed her the design. She came back with a even, you know, a better interpretation of even what I had in my head and what I wrote on paper, and it was a lot stronger and stuff than I even anticipated. And I met her at a Starbucks, and right next to that Starbucks was a Fitness 19. I said, just wait here just for a second. And so I took what is now the first Slingshot ever. I took the first Slingshot ever into the Fitness 19. Just bypassed the front desk, blew right past it like I own the joint. Threw on 135, hopped down, and threw the Slingshot on, got down to the bench and busted out like 20 reps. And I just got up off the bench and I just got chills all over my whole body. I've totaled a 2630 total in powerlifting and squatted over 1,000 pounds many times in competition. This was a feeling that I never felt before. It was incredible, because I knew that this device was going to help a lot of people, inspire a lot of people, and I knew a lot of people were going to be excited about it. So I immediately went back to Starbucks and told the woman, said, hey, you know, I need to make like 10 of these because I need different sizes to test it. Tested it, and then took it to manufacturers, and then the rest is kind of history from there.
But as we slow down, we start to rest like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 seconds between sets.
It's good to train yourself under fatigue to make things harder than it would be in whatever sport you may be. So to do 10 sets of 3 under time constraint just ups your conditioning, ups your setup, builds in repetition.
So it was really cool because now we have this rhythm when we're doing it, and it was like one after another.